Hey guys, Meredith Baker here for On the Map Off the Radar. I'm in Houston with lawyer Jolanda Jones, who is a former city council member in Houston, a personal mentor of mine, and also a former contestant on Survivor. Jolanda is a jack of all trades, but she's also a fighter for people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds especially, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about the U.S. penal system today and the problem with misdemeanors. So Jolanda, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you have so many things going on, so I really appreciate you being here.
You know, anytime you ask, I'm going to show up, man. You know that. So
thank you. And could you go ahead and explain to us what is a misdemeanor and what are the problems that you see with it in a lot of your cases that you handle?
Misdemeanors are considered minor crimes, and people think of them as minor, but they're really not, and they disproportionately negatively affect poor people. Once you get a misdemeanor on your record, say you're driving down the street, the police decide to stop you for a traffic offense, they run your record, a misdemeanor comes up, they tend to be less understanding of people with misdemeanors. If you're a college student and you get slapped with a misdemeanor after you've gone to college and spent all that money, when you go to apply for a job and there's someone without a record and you have a record, even though it's a misdemeanor, they're going to get the job, you're not. So you have kids going to college like at Texas State University where the police racially profiled kids of color and they can't get jobs. So for example, my son, who they profiled and presumed was a criminal, and he's not a criminal. By the grace of God, I'm his mom, and it's what I do for a living. Yes. And so I learned that there's a whole system in place there. So even though the school is educating the kids, the police are tagging them as criminals. So my son could always pass criminal histories. Now he can't pass criminal histories because he has misdemeanors on his record that I've actually gotten wiped off.
Wow.
So,
and what is the process to get them wiped off?
Oh, you have to go and you have to get an expungement. Expungements cost thousands of dollars, and it takes time. And then you hope that law enforcement really does erase stuff. There's really no penalty for them if they don't do it. So it's a real problem. And people believe that you start off minor and you graduate to major. Mm-hmm. So law enforcement always believes that you're a criminal whether you are or not. And then you have a lot of college kids who don't have money. So they'll offer you time served and you have to pay a fine. So there's this industry where they're making money off of you, and the kids think it's no big deal. It's just the misdemeanor, and then they can't get jobs.
Right, and especially for people who come from low-income backgrounds, right, it would be almost impossible for them to get it expunged because they might not be able to pay.
Oh, right. Well, first of all, they wouldn't be able to get it in a position for it to be expunged. In order for it to be expunged, you've got to get a really good deal. You've got to get a deferred adjudication. Then, but this is Texas law. Okay, someone who doesn't have a mom who happens to be a lawyer wouldn't even know what that is, right? And certain kinds of deferred adjudications are not expungible, you know, or you have to win at trial, which trial costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you're poor, you can't even put yourself in a position to get it expunged. And then if you get the cases dismissed, like I've been able to do with all of them so far, and I intend to get the last one resolved as well, positively, there's all this money that has to be paid, hard costs, not even lawyer costs, that you have to literally pay the courts to expunge. You've got to pay to have law enforcement agencies served. You've got to pay to have district clerks and county clerks served. So it's a real problem.
And is there a potential solution you think that would take the place of the misdemeanor for these nominal offenses? Well,
first of all, if you're, for example, with college students, you're in a college town, kids party in college towns. Why would you criminalize partying? It doesn't make any sense to me. Kids are making a lot of noise. You go and you say, hey kids, turn the music down. You would arrest the kid, why? So the greatest tool a police officer has is their discretion.
Right.
So when the police officer goes to a party in a white area where the kids' parents have affluence, they go and they say, hey kids, turn the music down. You go and you see a party full of people of color, you're writing citations for these kids. And so it's a problem.
Right, and then it's cyclical violence in the sense that they can't get their misdemeanor expunged, so they have this criminal record, they can't get employed, and then they're, you know, labeled at risk.
And over time, I mean, you do things right, and then you have this loan to pay back that you can't pay back because you can't get a job to pay it back because you have something on your record that never should have been there in the first place. So why are we criminalizing kids partying in a college town? That makes no sense to me. Kids are kids, they're loud sometimes. Right. Why would you make that a crime? It makes no sense to me.
And how has this issue of misdemeanors in a way been obscured or underreported or misrepresented in mainstream media?
Well, first of all, most of the kids, like if it didn't happen to my child, where once it happened to him, I ended up having like 10 or 15 more clients where the exact same thing happened to them. The offense reports looked almost identical. It was amazing. So you have all the police writing down that all the kids of color are saying the exact same words, like, excuse my French, F the police, as if kids of color, I guess they must watch NWA. I don't even think my son knows who NWA is, but they have these form offense reports where they make for the most part, the same allegations against all these kids who are at different parties, you know, with different noise, may or may not. So it's definitely a problem.
Wow. Well, this has been so informative. Thank you so much for talking with us about this and giving us a little insight into your lawyer knowledge about an issue that needs to be critically addressed and widely covered in Texas and nationwide. Everybody, thanks for watching. This is On the Map Off the Radar with the wonderful Jolanda Jones.
Bye.
Bye.